Bonjour, bonsoir. Welcome back to my channel. This is Avali Storm, and this series is called Vanity's Secrets. The behind the scenes events that happened in Vanity's life that she didn't put in her book, Blame It on Vanity. And the information I've gathered over the years are from people that knew her, worked with her. I work in the industry, so I've got some really good sources. And just giving some information about things that people may not have known about her. So please listen to the whole interview, the whole video, and ask questions below. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them in the comment section. And enjoy. Talk to you later. This is a story about two people, Denise Matthews and Vanity. They were two distinctive people. And Denise was the girl from Niagara Falls, Canada, and Vanity was an entity that was created and even summoned by Prince and Vanity. Vanity was supposed to be a sex goddess, a very aggressive person, that went out and got whatever she wanted, whenever she wanted. Kind of like a dominatrix type woman. And Denise accepted it because she was trying to get into the business of singing. And that was her way to get her foot in the door of singing and get a record deal. And that was through Prince. And the thing people really don't know is that before Denise met Prince, she knew Rick James. She met Rick James first at an industry party, and Rick James offered her a deal of being in the Mary Jane Girls, and she was going to be Mercedes. And she hadn't accepted at the time, but she said, let me think about it. I'll, get back to you on it. It sounds interesting. Because really what Vanity wanted was a solo career, because she had already developed an image for herself, what she wanted to project before she met Prince. And she already had an idea of what type of music she wanted to sing and what she wanted to sound like before she met Prince. But when you are signing a deal, sometimes you go in it and they already have what they want you to look like and sound like. And sometimes you go for it because you think, okay, I'll do it for now. And when I make enough money and I can become independent, I'll move on and do my own thing. That was her thinking. So when she met Prince at the American Music Awards, he was obsessed with her. I mean, he fell in love with what she looked like. He was so enthralled with her look that he came up with the name Vanity, because he says that he saw his reflection when he saw her, meaning he really wanted to be her, actually. And he was so obsessed with her that he wouldn't mind, if he were a woman, he wouldn't mind looking like her. And she knew that. She knew that he had fallen in love, more in lust, more of a lust than a love with her. I think Prince saw her more as an object as opposed to a three-dimensional person. And Denise knew that. She said, well, this guy, I like him. And she said she liked him, but then she ended up falling in love with him because after he started writing songs about her, like The Beautiful Ones was about her, and several other songs, When Doves Cry was about her, she fell in love with him. And once she fell in love and realized that he didn't love her back in the same way, it was very hurtful for her. It was very difficult for her to continue with him and do the movie Purple Rain, even though she did help write it and she helped put some ideas in there. And you can see the movie is really about her and him together. It's kind of like a mixture of both of their lives. Certain things that happened to her, he pretended like they happened to him, and vice versa. It was like a merge of sorts. And it was an interesting movie. I did go to see it with Apollonia in it. But one thing I realized that happened was that even though Vanity left, an iconic movie, she can always say that somebody played her in a movie. Somebody had to play her in Purple Rain while she was in her 20s. Somebody's pretending to be her in a movie. That was amazing. Like, that's amazing. Because although she wasn't in the movie of Purple Rain, they had to find somebody that looked similar to her and pretend to be her. And how many people can say that they have that? A movie, somebody to play them in a movie. Amazing to me. And something else people really don't know is that Rick James and Prince fought over Vanity, because when Rick James offered her to be in the Mary Jane Girls because he was developing this female group, Prince found out about it and didn't like it one bit. And this was during the time after Prince met her and started dating her. Rick James had offered her that role to be Mercedes before they launched the group. And Prince heard about that, and Prince started to hate Rick James for that and thought Rick James was trying to steal her away from him. And maybe in some ways he was trying to take her away, because he definitely wanted her in the group. He definitely thought she was a beautiful woman and was attracted to her. And he did try to go to bed with her, and she refused it because she told him, I'm dating Prince. Me and Prince are dating now, and I'm not going to cheat on him. And so when Prince found out about that, him and Rick James stopped being friends. And of course, he was not going to open for him anymore, because he was opening for Rick James at the time. And after the contract was up, Prince moved on, and he offered to keep Vanity in his stable, because again, Vanity was one of many women that Prince dated. And remember, Susan was definitely one of his girlfriends before he met Vanity. And he was dating Susan exclusively for a little while, and then he kind of started dating other people, and then he met Vanity, or Denise, and started dating her and called her Vanity. And when he came up with the name Vanity, I think Denise didn't like the name. She said she really didn't like the name. She wanted to keep her real name and just kind of have like a second name. Like, I remember she called herself Denise Sonic at one point. Well, that was the name that she wanted to use when she went into music. She was going to call herself Denise Sonic. And then her other name was Dee Dee Winters, which was her acting name. And so she already had she already planned out what she wanted to do. But Prince was like, well, if you want to be in this group, it's going to be called Vanity Six, and you have to be called Vanity. And she went ahead and accepted it. They had other names for her, like the V word for, the woman's private area. And she told him no. And I think he was just joking with her at that point to see what she would say. And he came up with Vanity. And he got the name, I think he got it from watching The Godfather. And in no, not The Godfather. I'm sorry. He got it from the Bible, I believe, and named her Vanity. But then he changed it and said the reason why he called her Vanity is because he saw her reflection. But that's the ongoing story. But I think he really loved her and loved the way she looked, loved her beauty. He was infatuated with her more than love. I think he was more infatuated, but she fell in love with him. So, but it didn't work out because he was cheating on her during Purple Rain, and it's hard to date somebody and be in a movie and work with them too. It's very difficult. And she got a better deal with Berry Gordy. Berry Gordy gave her a really pretty good deal. He gave her a lead in the movie of The Last Dragon, and said she could release 2 more albums on Motown, and she was going to make way more money. So she took that deal because it was going to help her career, and that's what she needed at that point. And she wanted to kind of change her image, because I think what she was trying to do was be more sensual than overtly sexual, because Prince created that hooker image for her, and that's not quite what she wanted to do. She did it because, of course, that's getting her foot in the door, get her some notoriety, get your name out there. But that wasn't the image she wanted. That's why another reason why she didn't want to stay, because she wanted to change her image to more like more sensual, more teasing, more less overt, but more like read between the lines sexuality. She wanted to be more mainstream, and Prince made her more like this out of the box kind of outrageous character. Um, but she knew that she wanted to work in Hollywood, and she knew that she wanted to do movies and music, so she had to tone it down in order to be able to do all the things that she wanted to do. So when she left, it was really a business decision that she had made with her and her manager, and they were like, you have to kind of change your image a little bit. You could still be Vanity and be sex, this sex goddess, but you can do it in a different way. And that's when she came up with the wild animal concept, where it was more sensual, more more alluring, more of her being like a sex siren type woman, somebody that's more in control of her sexuality, where she didn't need somebody standing right there to be like a pimp or a Svengali type person. She was more in control of herself. She knew what she wanted to do, and she went ahead and did it. Now I applaud her for that, for being able to do that. But a lot of the behind the scenes stuff was her and Rick James and Prince. It was like this triangle, and he was trying to keep Denise with him, offering her more money than Prince was offering her, trying to get her to be the fourth girl in the group, and she would not be the lead. If Vanity would have went with the Mary Jane girls, she would have been girl number 4. And Prince was like, no, I'll make you the lead singer. It will be named after you. You will be the front woman of this group called Vanity Six, and it'll just be 3 of you. Now, Susan, what people don't know, Susan was the original woman that was supposed to be the lead of whatever they were going to call the group. It might have been Vanity Six. Maybe he would have had a different name for Susan, but she was supposed to be the main girl, and then her sister was going to be the second girl, and then they had another woman in there, a white woman, who was going to be the third girl, which is a different woman than they had in Vanity Six, but it was 3 of them. And the weird thing about it is, like, they have these pictures of Susan looking in the mirror, handheld mirror, like she's Vanity, and she's like the girl in the front, being the sexual central one in the front, and the other 2 girls are behind her, just like in Vanity Six. And I said, oh, Vanity took her spot, And I wonder how Susan felt. And what I remember hearing is that Susan was very angry with Prince, that Prince brought this girl in here to be the front woman, and that he was dating her while she was dating him as well. So it was like 2 of them dating the same guy. Very awkward. Prince was like that. He used to treat people like that. Like, they're kind of like expendable in a way. I think he kind of treated people that way. Like, if he saw somebody better than you or better looking, whatever, he'd jump on that train and leave you standing there. Like, he was known to do that. And I think that's one of his flaws, that he couldn't settle down with just one person for long, that he gets bored too easily. And I know Susan was hurt about that, because I remember it was an interview they did, I heard online, a radio interview or something about Susan and Vanity initially hated each other. Susan didn't like Vanity for good reasons, and that they had a really abrasive relationship, and that Vanity was trying to assert herself and, being the lead singer and the face of the group, she had to be more assertive, more dominant in interviews. And I think that Susan resented that. She was not too happy with that. And when Vanity left, Susan was very happy that Vanity was leaving, because it was like, even though Susan and Prince were still dating off and on, it just was so difficult to work with somebody who was also dating the same person. It was just like ridiculous that he put them in that situation. Now, Susan could have left a long time ago, but she wanted to pursue her singing career. She's a writer as well, very talented writer, and she wanted to pursue that. And she didn't want that relationship to deter. And then she realized that Prince really was not going to marry her. He wasn't going to settle down with her, meaning Susan. Susan knew that. So she accepted the relationship for what it was. We're just friends with benefits. That's the relationship. And so when Vanity decided, because people said she got fired, that they fired her or let her go from Purple Rain. No, actually what happened was Vanity told Prince that she wants to pursue her solo career, and that in order to do so, she can't be in the movie. She can't pursue her solo career, put out an album, and be in the movie at the same time. It was a conflict of interest. So Warner Brothers allowed her to get out of the contract. So she left. Now, she went on with Berry Gordy, and she became very famous because of that. Again, it was a win-win situation. You know, Apollonia, when Apollonia came in, they had saw like maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of women that came through trying to look like Vanity or have that Vanity look. And they settled on Apollonia because she wasn't dressed up like Vanity. She kind of was dressed down, but they saw something in her like, oh, she's an actor. She knows how to act. She's acted before. They saw a couple of her little clips that she was in, like little TV shows and such, and they could make her look like Vanity. That was the thing. Okay, if we give her some certain makeup and clothes and do her hair a certain way, they could make her look similar to what Vanity was like. And they had Apollonia looking at hundreds of hours of video of Vanity and her concerts and, and such, and try to, get that same kind of personality that Vanity had. She really studied her. They had her study a lot of Vanity's clips and works and all that stuff. And they gave her stuff to look at, her music videos and such. And Apollonia spent hours learning how to be Vanity and how to dress like her, how to dance like her, how to be, what would she say, like how to be witty and all that stuff. So Apollonia got into that. She became Apollonia, which was kind of a carbon copy of Vanity. And it was just business in the very beginning of that relationship. It was just business, where Prince and her were just friends. But then they became romantically involved maybe within maybe a year after Purple Rain had been out, and they were still friends. They became romantically involved for a little while because Prince started to date her exclusively. He wanted to date Apollonia, so he was taking her out, spending time with her, and they became more than friends. They were living together at one point. And I think that Apollonia knew that it was just a fling. She didn't take it more than what it was. She was like, we're good friends, and we have our time together. But she knew, this is not going to last that long. She knew that it wasn't, because she knew Prince was not a one-woman man. I mean, he needed to have a lot of different people around him. And he would have loved if the women that he were with liked other women. Like, he liked women that were bisexual. Prince was known for that he liked bisexual women. And he wanted Apollonia to be part of his, dreams, and he wanted Vanity to do it, all this stuff, to be with other women with him at the same time, like a menage a trois. And it was a known fact that Prince liked that. And Apollonia kind of turned it down, but then she started seeing other people as well. And then Prince and Apollonia broke up a couple of years after, and she went solo. And because she did a couple more albums with him. I think she did. Didn't she do 2 more albums? I think she did 2 albums with him, if I'm not mistaken. Or just 1. Did she just do 1? Let me check. Okay, Apollonia only did 1. Let her out of her contract so she can go ahead and pursue her solo career. And that's when she became who she really wanted to become, which was more like a vampish woman, somebody that was sensual as opposed to just being overly sexual. And that's what she achieved. I believe she achieved her goal, because she did change. She changed it. She was more in control of herself, more control of her image. She created her videos. She wrote the treatments for her videos and edited her videos the way she wanted it to be. And you could see that her first album is a lot like her. Wild Animal is Vanity. And that's when I started to see Denise disappearing more and more, because when that second album came out, you could tell like this image or that entity or that spirit that she wanted to be her became her. And so that's when I saw those two different people, Denise and Vanity, kind of fighting over for control. Denise was more of the quiet one, more, laid back, quiet. And Vanity was more aggressive, more I'll get whatever I want whenever I want it type person. And no matter what it takes to get there, I'm going to get to the top. That was Vanity. And you could see it. You could see the difference. Like in certain interviews I've seen about Vanity, you could just see that other entity there, lurking to take over. Just can't wait to take over. And Vanity and Denise had this fight, and Denise was losing the fight at some point, especially during the time where Vanity was doing the drugs. That's not something Denise really wanted to do. It's something that Vanity wanted to do. You have to realize those are two different people in one person. It was one person, but two different people, two different distinctive personalities dueling it out. And it was kind of surreal to watch it. Like when she would be on stage giving these crazy performances and jumping all around and acting all wild, that was 100% Vanity. And when she stopped calling herself Denise, and she was getting upset that if anybody called her Denise, she would get mad at them. She would just throw a fit, like, only call me Vanity. I'm Vanity, And, she became Vanity at one point. And she tried to kill off Denise. So when they created this, when Apollonia came into the picture, I saw a woman who not necessarily looked like Vanity, but they can make her look like her. Especially on the first album cover, the one and only album cover, Apollonia 6, they only released one album, but you saw on the front of the cover, they took a picture that Vanity had on her Wild Animal cover, and they duplicated that look for Apollonia. She's looking the same exact way. She's doing, her face, position, everything is the same. It's just it's really odd to see it, how much they try to make her look like Vanity. I think so that's why people got confused with it too, because they were so similar looking on, like in the albums and stuff like that, on the covers and stuff. They look kind of similar. So I think a lot of people used to get them confused. But it was creepy. It's creepy to see somebody that looks just like you. And Vanity knew that, and she's like, you know what? I got to meet this Apollonia woman. And she made it her business to meet her, because they traveled in the same circles, and they went after some of the same roles, because I remember they met each other at a audition. And Apollonia knew who Vanity was. Like, she studied her. I mean, she literally watched her videos. They coached her on what to do and how to talk and how to act to be more like Vanity. And so she knew who Vanity was. Vanity did not know that much about Apollonia, because she didn't watch him. She never saw Purple Rain, and she did not listen to Apollonia's music. So she really did not know Apollonia that way. But they met each other at an audition, and they became friendly. And they found out that they have a lot in common, that they're both very friendly people. They didn't have any animosity towards each other. And they became friends. And they were even at an American Music Award where Vanity gave Prince the award. Apollonia was there. She was there with the Revolution. And they were seen in several pictures together. They took several pictures together, and they were friends. They were really cool people together. They hung out and went to certain events together off and on, throughout the years. And because people that used to think they were rivals, I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think they're friends. And then she finally admitted, yeah, we're friends. So she did say that. She did admit that they're friends. And so you saw that Vanity wasn't really intimidated by other people. She really was in her own lane. The thing about Vanity that people don't know is that she had to deal with a lot of that casting couch where these guys in Hollywood would want to go to bed with her, saying, well, I'll give you this role if you go to bed with me. And she had to put up with that for years. I remember her talking about it, how the casting couch was definitely something that was there, but she refused a lot of it. She refused a lot of those things. So she didn't get a lot of roles because of it. As you can see, she says it took a little longer for her to get to where she wanted to go, but she still got there anyway. So Vanity took over. It's a battle. It was a battle between Denise and Vanity. So at this point, this is the late 80s, and you can see she's full 100% Vanity. Denise doesn't exist anymore. So this is part 1 of Vanity Secrets, and part 2 is coming soon. So I want you to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can get all of the new updates that are coming soon. I will be posting every Monday. Talk to you later. Ciao.